Happy to be here Friday night together. So you are all students, right? So everyone watching us is students too. Okay, cool. Only students. You are lucky. You are really lucky to be a student. I wish to be a student again, because when you are a student, you have a lot of free time, by definition, very low responsibility, and most of you have a sponsor. And I think you don't use that time enough. And what I want to give you today is few advice about how to be more intense as a student. So my name is OUSSAMA. For everyone not knowing me, I created The Family. The Family is a family of business. We help 100 startups to start every year. We take 5% equity inside the company in exchange of our full support. We don't have anything standard. Our approach is only custom. Our obsession is to try to build the best version of the family for each company joining us. And the way we see our business is that if we take 5% of your company, we want that these 5% are valued as much as possible, and we will do anything it takes for that to happen. So we are ready to do anything. And sometimes we are ready to do really crazy thing. The craziest thing we did until now is that we organized a fake event with 300 people to promote a startup that did not exist a week before, pretending that it was a very, very institutional one. So if we are ready to create a fake event with 300 people, we can do a lot of things. So now you get it. As a background, I was not a really good student. Sorry, Mom, I'm really sorry. I kind of always worked. I did my first website when I was 12. I sold my first company when I was 15. And so you imagine that doing little money before getting in university totally changed my mindset around what do I need to do in school. So I wanted to create company as soon as possible. So I have been a fake student. I see a lot of good students being fake entrepreneurs. I was an entrepreneur being a fake student, so it was the opposite. But still, I remember my friend, and I remember what they make good or bad, and I remember it come down to one simple thing, is how intense you are. So I want to talk about this thing. If you're an entrepreneur, if you are a student, if you're an employee, if you are anything in life, the thing that really makes a difference is the amount of intensity you put in your life. Intensity provides multiple great upsides. Intensity provides joy. Intensity provides a feeling to be alive. Intensity provides the fact that you will be eager to take risk. And you know, most of the people have this jail of others, you know, their reputation, what their parents will think, what the school will think, what the teacher will think. And none of that ever produce anyone to be happy, because what others think of you is by definition not in the same time frame. So let's start by that. Why, as a student, you should never listen to your parents and your professor? It's very easy to understand. They share all your downside and none of your upside. That's what a parent is. Let's say you go and do a world trip. You take your bag and take your best friend and decide to go on the road without any plan to do a world tour. If this thing goes well, it's going to be an amazing experience for you. You are going to learn. You are going to change. You are going to grow. You are going to be a different person. But from your parent perspective, that is only trouble. Because if it's go well, they get nothing out of that. They don't grow. They don't travel. Maybe they send you some money, just a cost. Like, what do they get to have a children that is happy, you know? Not anything. But if during the trip, in the first city, you got kidnapped by gangster and beat up to death, and they have to come and pick you up and bring you home and take care of you for the next 2 years until your recovery, that is going to be their downside. So parents have this very weird economical structure where they share an unlimited amount of downside and none of the upside. And it's as stupid as that. In terms of mechanism design, if incentives are not aligned, then the feeling of people and the advice that people give are conflicted. That's why most of the people that listen to their parents end up being very sad, because they do the safe choice. And there is nothing in safe choice that will provide you anything that will excess return. You need to take risk. The second thing that makes parents and professors really unable to give you advice is a question of paradigm and time frame. So let's talk about that. Do you know what a paradigm is? A paradigm is a set of hypotheses that most of the time are hidden, and they kind of structurate your way of seeing things. The most common paradigm we all live in is fashion. So you are all very young, but if you look a picture of you 10 years ago, you will ask yourself why anyone let you go out in the street like that. That's the incredible thing about fashion, is that fashion is something that we all coordinate without asking ourselves. We all even if you are very, very original, you are not that much original. Because let's say I came today with my hairdress, and, with white peruke, and I had a high heel and a shorty. Like, at least, even if you are very, very open-minded, you will have a kind of view on my sexuality, at least. Like, even if you are left-wing, progressive, super open-minded, you will have this judgment. Still, that's the way King of France were wearing clothes only 2 centuries ago. So imagine how much fashion can change. Something that was really weird. So even the extremum and the extremis of fashion is always kind of average. If I look like how you are dressed, from this guy to this guy, that is the most original one here, and the less original is this one. If you take this scope, the difference is not that big. You all both have a pant, none of you have a skirt. You have a jacket, he has a t-shirt. The difference between a jacket and a t-shirt is something we can apprehend. None of you came with a skirt, for example. And the funny thing about paradigm is that they are invisible. And one thing that is really strange is that the number of paradigms we live on during our life is increasing. Why? Because the lifetime of a paradigm is shorter and shorter. Like, I started in internet 15 years ago, and I don't get anything happening right now with startup or Bitcoin or decentralized currency or blah, blah, blah. It's like totally different paradigm. I'm totally jet lagged. I'm lost. And I'm 32 years old. And I feel old. Like when I get people here at 16 years old, 18 years old coming to pitch me the future, I'm like, what the fuck? What they are doing? You know, it's like I'm really considering to go and retire and just stop to hearing all this pain to adapt my brain to this new thing. And so basically your parents, your teacher, they live in a world that don't exist anymore. So the ability to give you advice is not aligned economically, downside, upside, and is not aligned structurally. So what is your choice? You have 2 things to do. First, build your own opinion, and that go through experiment. The amount of experiments you can try when you are a student can be much higher. It's a time where you can try a lot of things. You can intern, you can work, you can create projects. You don't need to be an entrepreneur. You know, it's so boring to be an entrepreneur. Like, I know it's fancy nowadays, but please don't become an entrepreneur too early. There is not such a thing that makes entrepreneurship funny. Entrepreneurship is a huge responsibility. If you do something that really works out, you have a lot of pain, a lot of trouble. And it's fine if it's your choice. But before that, try who you are. Try to explore and understand very deeply what makes you happy, what makes you good, how you can excel at something. And that can only come through experiment. And when you think about it, what is really sad in your generation is that the amount of experiment you put in your life is very low. Maybe you try drugs, but that's not the best experience. Don't take drugs, kids. Huh? Very important. So, Maxime, it's for you that. So of course, what you want at this age is not so much to be an entrepreneur, but do things that maybe will prepare you to be an entrepreneur. So what can you do to prepare yourself to be an entrepreneur? Entrepreneurship is about 3 skill set. People, money, product. Okay? People. Being good with people. Perfect age to learn that. Party. Good way to learning how to be good with people. Non-profit. Association. Community work. Whatever bring you to connect with people otherwise you will not meet. Perfect age to do that. I mean, you don't have so many things in your life anyway. Reading. Try, like it's a perfect time to read about biographies and anything that teach you about human nature. Understanding why people are the way they are and not the way you wish they are. Try to go deep in the soul of people. Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to really understand what happens inside people. Not what they tell you, but what they do. And if you are really good at that, you will learn secret number 1. Everybody lie, nobody care. That's the most powerful secret of all. Everybody lie, nobody care. Everybody lie because whatever you do, nobody has any incitation to tell you the truth. If you come and ask me if your idea is good, what do you think I'm going to say? That is great. I don't have any upside to tell you otherwise. Okay, it's my job if you ask me to come to the family. I will be like, yeah, it's great, but not for me. That's my way to say it sucks, you know? But you, on the other side, you need to learn that. You need to learn how to go deep with people, to bond with people, to explore people. Perfect age to do that. The second skill is money. I think you are all underestimating how much money you can make and how stupid making money is. Money is the biggest inequality between people in this world by definition. Some people have a lot of money, some people don't have. But what is sure is that if you want to become an entrepreneur, you don't need to receive money, you need to make money. And this process of understanding how value is connected to money, how providing something with value lets you take a part of this money is super important. And the way of doing that is by doing a very simple exercise. Take any product you like and just sell it, online or offline. Just tell yourself that next week you are going to do a small profit with something you like. And every week, try to do a little bit more. If in 1 year you do 10,000 a month, it will be a huge achievement. Huh? And that achievement is going to make you very confident. You know, we do a lot of education program here. We did a program here with 16 to 21 years old people. And we just told them, look, take a product randomly and try to sell it online. The best student in the class was making 8,000 a month. 8,000 a month just selling something online. So you see, that's not impossible. It's hard work. It's good skill set because you will learn to do everything entrepreneur needs to do in a very small environment and uncomplex one. The problem is that when people want to become entrepreneur, they have a very unnatural approach. You know, being an entrepreneur in 2019 is about writing a business plan, thinking about a very big idea, and convincing investors to pour money at this idea when you don't even have any credibility to do that. Let's say I'm a writer. I want to write a book. And I tell you, you know what? I think I'm a very pretty good writer. I need 10 million to spend the next 10 years of my life in a castle. I spend $1 million a year. I have a high maintenance cost. And you know what? I think I can write something that is better than Harry Potter, because let's face it, Harry Potter sucks. Who is going to give me money? You will be like, seriously, dude, maybe you should start to write an article and we see how it goes. You know, nobody is going to tell you that you are a writer until you become a writer. Let's take another example. I like Renaissance painting. I like Italy. I can go and see the Italian government and say, you know what, you have a guy, his name is Michelangelo. Yeah, a sucker. I can do much better. Give me the Chapel 16 and 3 months and I think I can do that better. Huh? Just need a few $100,000, please. If someone do that, it's going to feel crazy for you, no? You will be like, who the fuck is that? But still, that's exactly what every first-time entrepreneur do when they go on market and be like, this is my big vision, this is my business plan, and I want to raise millions to make that happen. And people are like, yeah, but why you? Why should we trust you? And of course, artists, painter, writer, they know that they need to start small scale, train themselves, and go bigger and bigger and bigger. So of course, people say, yeah, and Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, that's exactly what Mark Zuckerberg is. Mark Zuckerberg sold his first startup at 15 years old to Microsoft. It's pretty gifted and talented. So when he did Facebook and 98% of Harvard was using Facebook, people were pouring money on him. Not because of the vision, but because of the achievement and who he is. And not everyone is Mark Zuckerberg by definition. But if you want to work and if you want to show, you need to learn how to do things small scale. And learning to make money online is one of the best ways of doing that small scale. Because it shows you how to produce and transform value in something you can articulate and understand. And, and that will help you build your credibility, build your confidence, and help you do things more and more complicated way. So, people, party more, money, do a small-scale project and try to make money online. And I lost the third one. What was the third one? Product. So, let's talk about product. You are in a generation where everyone here should code. You should have no excuse about not coding. If you are under 25 and you don't learn how to code, you have a big problem. And let's go down to this problem. Coding is not about being an engineer. By the way, coding is not a science. It's more like coding is clearly more close to grammar and literature than it is to math. Because algorithmic is math, but I'm not telling you that you need to be good at algorithmic. You need to be good at coding because you are the permissionless generation. Let me explain that. Few years ago, when someone wants to do something, he needs to ask permission. I want to go on TV and do a TV show. I need to ask permission. I want to I don't know, do a school and teach people, I need to ask a permission. I want to build a factory to produce something, I need to ask a permission. There were nothing in life that was not controlled by gatekeeper. Then the internet company came and said, you want to say something online? Go on YouTube. We don't filter. The market do. Oh, you want to build a software? Just code it. That's all the free software that is available. Coding and media became permissionless. If you think about what your generation needs as an opportunity, it's to reduce distance between your imagination and your ability to do. If you reduce that gap, then you have superpower. And these superpower are three things. You can motivate people around your speech and your idea. You can kind of commit to have people do things that you cut, and you can use an army of robots that is available and right now can do thousands of things. The big difference in our world is between the people that know how to use the army of robots that is out there and the people that don't. Imagine how many businesses out there can be automatized and they are not. Imagine how many opportunities out there can be much more efficient, much more scalable. And that's the opportunity of your generation. The opportunity of your generation is to take anything that is not scalable and build a scalable version of it. Scalability requires three tools. Tool number one, automatization. Tool number two, standardization. Tool number three, make the user work for you. That's a free tool set of scalability. And to master these three tools, you need to be really good at communicating and coding. You don't need to be a good engineer. Why you should learn to code? You should learn to code like the way you learn to write. No one here is going to tell me, oh, I don't need to write and read because I'm not planning to become a writer. So you cannot tell me I don't need to code because I'm not planning to become an engineer. That's bullshit. By the way, do you know why the elite write and read? Total sideway. It's one of my favorite stories. In France, in 15th century, they were a guy, a very powerful guy, that did not know how to write and read. So he asked his secretary to send a letter to his rival, wishing him the best, and telling him that he was beautiful and extraordinary and things like that. The problem is that the secretary got corrupted. So he did not write the letter that the Lord asked, but he wrote a letter insulting the other kingdom. So the other kingdom come, did the war, killed everyone for the insult. And the secretary became a really rich man. It's Game of Thrones-like. It's actually really happened in history. It's Provence, 16th century. And after that event, the nobility in France were so traumatized that every kid in the elite learned to write and read. Do you know why soon everyone is going to code? Because every poor kid in the world, knowing how to code, is going to be better in this world than every rich kid that don't know how to code. And then when you will have a huge generation of traumatized parents, where the kid did not have the opportunity they deserve because they didn't know how to adapt to this world, then coding is going to be mandatory. If you want a bit of advance and not repeat history again and not being Duke of Provence, just learn to code. Learning to code in 2020, sorry, I'm from the future, I should not tell you, from 2019 is a 3-month effort. I'm not telling you to become a good coder. I'm not telling you to go and work for NASA. I'm not telling you to learn how to build the next AI. I'm just asking you to learn to read and write. If you do all of that, then the level of opportunity in your life is going to be extraordinary. Entrepreneur, not entrepreneur, employee, not employee, NGO, companies, whatever you will decide your path of life, at least you will have the right skill set to make it intense. Thank you. So, we are not a lot of us. I made it short on purpose. I hope it's fine. So now we can do an interactive talk. We have this incredible thing, we can throw it away and speak into it, and it's a microphone. So, who wants to ask the first question, please?
So you talked about the importance of starting these projects, like having done something before you go and tell somebody, okay, I'm going to be the next Harry Potter writer. So you have to write that article before. So you talked to us about selling things online, but how can you manage to sell things online for thousands of euros, right? Like I have an iPhone I'm going to sell, so you just gave me the motivation to sell an iPhone, but then after that iPhone, what else can I, like, should I sell like the chairs I have, like my clothes, like, so.
No, if you want that, so first lesson about value, if you sell what you have, then you don't have more. So you need
how do I do it?
So you need to sell something that someone else have. So maybe you can go on Alibaba, pick a product in a factory, and sell it for a higher price than they sell. I had a student at Sciences Po, you know, it's a French school. I told him that, and he was like, you know what? I will buy an apartment and sell it twice the price the next day I bought it. So he bought a small apartment, and then he tell himself that if he contact enough people, someone will buy it the double, and then he sold it a double in 4 weeks, because he contacted 150,000 people online. That's the power of robots. Robots give you huge power. Why? There is a market price on apartment. There is a market price on apartment because you cannot talk to enough people. Let's say you are really good at storytelling. You're really good at showing the story of why this apartment is very important to you and telling you have to buy it and nobody else, and that's the price. Of course you are going to buy it double price. And he built a business out of that. He's doing that full time now, and now we do that on apartment that he buy 2 million and sell 4. It's always the same thing. Buy and sell double. And he started with an apartment that he bought for 50,000.
Isn't that dangerous because it doesn't create any value?
It creates a lot of value, money for you.
It creates money for you, but for society,
Yeah,
what
and
does
do you
it
think your society is not going to live out of your money? Where this idea of value came from? You know, some people try to say that some things have value, some other have not value, but the truth is that any money you do have a huge value for society. You go online and speculate in stock market, that's exactly what will make a place like that living. Because if there were not people speculating in stock market with Uber IPO, there were no one that will want to finance early stage company. Banks created more value in this world and for the common good than any motherfucker with good intention. Huh? It's like you need to understand that money is neutral. Money is not something that comes with superpower. The money is what you do with it. You want to do good for society, use the money of the double apartment and pay back. Give it to some good non-profit that do something really well, you know? And it will go faster. And at the end of the day, if someone paid double price, it's because the first price was not the right price in first order. No judgment. Being judgmentless is a super important skill if you want to be an entrepreneur. Every judgmental person is never, like the two things that make entrepreneurship really hard is to be judgmental and idealistic. Like idealistic people, they break, and really badly. Like each time you see a very idealist person going in entrepreneurship, I tell you always how it ends up. They just break, and they become really cynical. Like you will see it with your most idealist friend. Pick your most idealist friend and track him for 10 years. You will see what happened. In 10 years, he's going to be a motherfucker. It's like, that's exactly what happened. You know why? Because you are so rigid on your ideals, and when they break, there's nothing left. What is cool is to know that the world is a mess. The world is complicated. Like there is rich people, poor people, there is happy people, sad people. What can you do about that? Not so much. Don't believe that you have superpower, but what you can do is that you can do good for yourself. If you do good for yourself, you will do good for the people around you. If you do good for the people around you, they will do good for the people around them, and that's the best way of creating value. Like the truth, you want to change the world, change yourself. Like it's the first step at any transformative process, because it's the only process where we have the right to do it. You know, like you cannot change the life of people that don't want to change. Question, guys, please. You can throw it. Wow. 5 points.
First of all, thank you kindly for the conference. You suggest we write the article first.
Yeah.
I beg to disagree, because if you do write that article, then you will have made your entrance in the public world, and that entrance will have been miserable, because there is no way that article will have been good.
That's funny.
So you are screwing yourself over if you write that article.
Do you know a little bit about history of literature?
I hope so.
Yeah? Okay, first book of Marcel Proust.
I don't quite remember.
Sorry?
I don't quite remember.
Do you think Marcel Proust is a great writer?
He's okay, I guess.
Yeah, he writes La Recherche, that is considered as one of the most amazing books ever written, right? Do you agree on that?
I will agree with you.
Okay. First book is the most shitty book you ever read. You don't imagine how shitty it is. The difference in this world is that if you think that, it's going to end bad. Let me tell you why. Reputation don't exist. Reputation is a jail that is locked up by fear. If you think that if you do something bad, and then this will be a judgment about yourself forever, you are going to be paralyzed.
That being said, Marcel Proust's times are not our times.
Our
times are the times of social media. Stuff sticks around.
Yeah,
people don't forget. People forget much less. And especially
that's why Donald Trump did not get elected, huh?
Well, Trump is what America deserves. I mean, let's face it.
Okay,
the Americans are all
so let's say that every bad version of a product kills a version. So look, I'm
like to
here.
Get back to my question, sir. Sorry. Listen, especially if your failure is bad, it's going to to become a meme practically, and you will be known for that. You will get a reputation, and that reputation will stick around. Or do you disagree? I see you're quite skeptical
So
about my
when I
statement.
was 20 years old, I lost 12 million in a company that was bankrupt, and I got 8 lawsuits from 7 investors when I was 20 years old. Do you really think that my reputation has anything damaged by that? I'm helping 100 startups every year creating crappy products that are so bad that they are ashamed of what they launch. And every year, few of them become $1 billion company. Do you know the first version of Algolia? Do you know the first version of Google? Do you know the first version of Facebook? Again, reputation is a jail locked up by fear. Remember that. If you think that people, first, if you really care about what other people think, never become an entrepreneur. Never. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you don't give a fuck. Like if you are a good entrepreneur, you are only focusing on yourself and building things that matter for you. People like it, it's great. People doesn't like it, it's fine. And if you believe in this grand gesture of entering in the world and don't think that you need to write hundreds of articles, it's because you don't understand how you train for excellency. The only way to train for excellency is to be skin in the game. To be skin in the game, you need to put out a shitty article and be so sad it's shitty. Because if you don't have this loop from the market, if you don't feel it in your skin, you never be great. Do you know why every product in the world is not perfect? Because every perfect product is somewhere on a hard drive of a developer that never launched. And who win? The perfect one or the bad one? And by the way, winning is not about perfection. Winning is about fine enough. Harry Potter is not the best book ever written. Marcel Proust is not the best book ever written, but they are the books that have been written. I'm sure there is 1,000 of more talented people that never did anything because they never been skin in the game. If really if I can change your life on something, is to stop believing in quality and reputation. Quality and reputation, they don't build excellency. Excellency is a process. It's iteration. The value of iteration is totally amazing. Like if you spend 1 year to build a website, this website, let's play that virtual game. Let's say you have 1 year to build a website and you work 12 hours a day on the website, okay? So you work 12 hours a day for a year. And let's say the quality of this website is 65 on 100, for example. We have this magic tool that evaluates the quality of things. Let's say now that you work 1 week on a website, okay? How long it will take to get to 65 if you iterate every week? It will go much faster than a year. Because in a year, you will not build 1 website, you will build 52 websites. Who do you think is stronger? The guy that built 1 website in a year and did not get any feedback in the process, or the guy that got so much feedback for a year that he built something extraordinary? And so that's why being fearful of the judgment of others is the best way of never doing anything. Like the real power is to don't care. By the way, never judge yourself. Very simple tips. Never judge yourself. You know why? Because it's a loser game. If you are very pretentious, we say in English, yeah, pretentious. If you are very pretentious, you are going to evaluate yourself up. You are going to say, I'm the best person. And then evaluating yourself will be something bad. If you are a really sad person and you say, oh, I'm so bad, everything I do is bad, then it's not a winner. Evaluating yourself is the best way of never going to commit for progress. What you need is to do 2 things. If you are lucky enough to objectify your result, take a KPI and follow that KPI. It goes up, you are right. ego down, you are wrong. No hard feeling. And if you do something that cannot be evaluated by a KPI, that's why business is such a great thing. Because in business, you make money, you are right. You don't make money, you are wrong. It's easy. You don't need to be like, I'm a good person or I'm a bad person. No, you are just good or bad in the moment. And then doing good things teach you what is good. Doing bad things teach you what is bad. And all the money you make means you are right. All the money you lose means you are wrong. Very easy life. But let's say you do something else. Let's say you're an artist. Really hard to have the KPI. You know, if you're an artist, never judge yourself. Find 2 or 3 people you really trust that are really hard and just ask them, I did that, what do you think? Yeah, it sucks. Okay. Again, what do you think? Yeah, better. Okay, good. You know, and take out that from yourself. Judgment should come from the other side. That's why every sportsman, every artist, every great talented people, they always have a talent manager or a coach or things like that. Because they don't want to think about are they doing it right or not. They just want to fucking work and commit to that work. And the judgment of the outside world, it's not your problem. Like outside, they don't give a fuck about you. Like if you look how people think, like they see things and they criticize and then they love it and then they think it's bad. Like startup right now, they are fashionable and then they will be unfashionable. I know we are living the time where startups are fashionable. Thanks God it's not going to be forever. You know, soon we will have yellow jackets here coming to burn everything and it will be fine. You know, because it doesn't matter. We don't do that for that. If I was doing everything I'm doing for the love of my YouTube channel, I will do things only in French about things we like to hear about, and I will look the data and I will be super sad. Because most of the people, they don't do anything in their life, but they think they have a good judgment about what you should do. Fuck them.
So essentially the idea is to stop caring about the investors too, from whom you've wanted the 100 million in the first place.
Yeah, sure. Of course, that's the first step, for sure. Question. Matthias, do you have any question? Because you look like still like a student, so. Gilles, student of life. Do you have any question? No, not any? Question? I'm sure you have a question, blue shirt. You're thinking? Okay, let me discover who you are. Where do you study?
I study security and defense at Sciences Po Lille.
Sciences Po Lille, okay. Where do you study?
I study at the Sorbonne.
At La Sorbonne? You want a funny story?
Tell me.
When I was running one of the first company that was important, we were supposed to hire a VP for America. And so my 2 co-founders, one of them was at Polytechnique, and the other one was at Normal Sup, and I was in philosophy at La Sorbonne. And so we were interviewing people, and you know, when you interview Americans, they are really good at asking questions. So they were, okay, what is your background? And so the first one was like, oh, I'm from Polytechnique. And the American was like, Polytechnique? Never heard about, what is that? And the other one was like, yeah, I'm doing economy at Normal Sup. Normal Sup, yeah, never heard. And you, what do you do? Yeah, I'm doing philosophy at La Sorbonne. Oh, La Sorbonne, wow, amazing. Oh, I understand why you are the boss. Then 12 interview letters. The first guy was like, yeah, I'm an engineer at La Sorbonne. And the other one was like, I'm an economist at La Sorbonne. And then it was so funny how La Sorbonne, and that day I realized that La Sorbonne can be much bigger than they are because they have such an extraordinary brand in the world. It's totally insane. So where are you from?
I'm studying in Sciences Po.
Sciences Po where?
Paris.
Paris. Which master? International Public Management. International Public Management. Impressive.
In Dauphine and now in internship.
Okay.
Sciences Po.
Yeah. Sciences Po Paris, toi aussi?
Ouais. EDEC. EDEC.
EDEC.
Normal Sup and Dauphine.
Ah, Normal Sup, c'est pour ça que tu fais la gueule. Je comprends mieux. C'est un truc de normalien, ça.
HEC, du coup, pour nous deux.
D'accord, HEC toutes les deux. Ok. C'est pour ça que vous organisez.
Sciences Po.
Sciences Po.
Same for me.
Yeah.
Sciences Po Anne Boconnet.
Epitech, Paris.
And you, where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Ada School.
Yeah, this girl is creating a new school to learn, to teach girls and open mind boy about how to code and product, code and product. Yeah, please.
I have a question. So it's really interesting for me what you said about reputation. My question is, imagine, for example, we have you and you did Sorbonne, right? And then we have somebody else that went to, let's say, what's the most famous school? Let's say Harvard, right? And you both have a project that you're presenting to investors, okay? Don't you think that the reputation of the school of Harvard, so the one that your twin brother that's exactly the same as you did, plays a role in the decision of investors and therefore has an important role for you in your life, right? Because it could happen that sometimes you have a project that's very similar to somebody else's project, and just because of the brand name of your school, the project of somebody else gets taken and yours doesn't.
Yeah.
So isn't reputation important in that sense?
Yeah, you want to reply to that one, of course. So, like, you just opened the philosopher on a Friday night. Go.
The probability that you end up pitching a similar idea to someone and the only variable is your school is so low. What you have to bear in mind is that when you're pitching to investors, the people you're competing in aren't people who are doing the similar things to you, they're people who are pitching at the same time as you. And so that'll never really be a factor. So like, even if the question was a question, it probably won't be a question. And then is it? Probably not, because once again, the sort of first order impact of the school you went to on solving the issue at hand is quite unlikely. But don't worry about that.
Yeah, so I was going to reply something better. No, actually I was going to do exactly the same answer. So the first thing, but to say it in a different way, never plan your life as a philosopher in an armchair. You know this expression, philosophy in armchair, is where you think reality is this broad version of possibility, when actually that kind of thing never happened in reality. And again, the problem is not doing Harvard or La Sorbonne, the problem is which traction do you have. Investors are looking for money. If you do money, nobody cares about where you come from. And this is why entrepreneurship is such a hard place for people that are entitled. Like, entrepreneurship is a huge corrosity against entitlement. Like, you can come from the best family, did the best school, and your product sucks. Users are just going to tell you it sucks. And it can be really mind-blowing for some people, you know. On the other side, you can come from nowhere and do a company that is going to be huge. And it happens all the day. Like, the biggest company that have been built this year in France is a company built in Marseille, bootstrap, never raised any money, built the second smartphone brand. I'm sure nobody here knows it. It's called Wiko. Do you know Wiko? Yeah. And Wiko got sold for 3 billion to Chinese investor. 3 billion, bootstrap. That's the biggest outcome of French entrepreneurship this year. So you see, like, do you really think people were like, oh, we are not going to buy it, it's from Marseille? If there is a place that have a huge reputation problem, it's Marseille. So no, again, reputation is a jail locked up by fear. You don't, like, if you do things right, nobody cares about anything. And by the way, that's why also entrepreneurship can be a really bad place. Some people are really mean, really bad, really evil in the worst way, and nobody cares because their company are successful. It works the other way. Huh? Don't sugarcoat it. Huh? It's because reputation. That's why I was telling him Trump. You know, Trump is just the expression of the fact that people can really discount things because something else is important for them. Peace of everyone. Yeah.
Talking about Trump, though, I would argue that a lot of his empire is actually built purely on his reputation, because if you look at his tax returns, he never actually accomplished anything, and all the money that he got from the investors was based purely on his reputation, on the fact that he presented himself as a successful entrepreneur.
Do you really believe that story? If yes, it's so sad.
the fact that he was several billions in
Look,
debt.
do you
for-
really think an investor giving that amount of money, it's because he read an article about Trump in the press? Do you really think people can be that stupid?
It's not only, I mean, he built his reputation over.
No. Just face that. Do you really think anyone that gave billions to Trump is because of his reputation? Like, do you think that people that gave money to Trump didn't know that that guy lost that amount of money? Do you think that anyone giving money to Trump didn't know that he's just a piece of shit? Do you think that they are that stupid? It doesn't work. You cannot believe, this is the journalist view of the world. The reason media are so bad is because they try to pitch you the best story, not the truth. And the best story you want to hear is that Trump built his empire on his reputation. Trump built his empire on two things. First, whatever you think about Trump, whoever this human being is, from a business perspective, the amount of failure doesn't matter compared to the magnitude of success. So Trump lost a lot of money, and that is sure. But when he made money, it was enough for him to survive. And the people that gave him money believe that they will be on the right side, even when they got fucked. The second thing is that because he fucked up everyone around, if his reputation was anything, it's not that he was successful. Everybody in the business world know that Trump is in huge debt from a long time. Like it was not surprise. It's a surprise for the journalist writing the article. Journalists write article. I remember, I will tell you a story. I was at a dinner in New York 12 years ago. 12 years ago, nobody was talking about Trump. And there was this huge article in New York Times about Trump, the success of the magnet Trump, blah, blah. And I was at a table with three investors, one backing Trump, and they were laughing reading the article about the fact that Trump was such a good businessman. No, the complex system that made Trump successful is super, super complicated. Most of the people that lend him money made so much money because they took fees from people that they just scam. Reputation don't exist, but scam does. Trump is a scammer, nothing else. And the fact that Trump scammed people is not because he was good on TV and that he had a reputation. No one sophisticated was believing that.
No, but you're talking about investors, but I mean, he made a lot of money. I agree with you that he's a scammer, but like he was able to scam people who aren't investors, ordinary people, because of his reputation.
No, because they love him. Face that. You cannot tell you that.
And they love him because of his reputation.
No, they love him because he's real. If they love him because they can piss off everyone loving him. You don't understand human nature thing. Like all the people that voted for Trump have this, it's like when you eat a bad McDonald's. You know when you go and eat something really bad for your body and you have like this feeling of joy and you're like, oh yeah, I know it's shit that I put in my mouth, but I love that shit. That's what Trump is. Trump is a McDonald's in human. Everybody knows it's bad. Nobody likes it, but the people that want to eat it, they love to eat it.
So to take it a little bit away from politics,
Please.
I want to ask you what could be maybe a tricky question, but one that's personally interesting. So we went through the Industrial Revolution, the Internet Revolution, and these, as you said, were big changes of paradigms, removing gatekeepers, giving new opportunities, making things possible which weren't possible before. What do you think is the next paradigm? Do you have any ideas what it could be?
No, I don't. I don't. So let me try to give you some thought about that question. First thing, the future is not passive. The future is active. By the way, building the future is a real Game of Thrones. You see Game of Thrones, one throne, everybody fighting for it. The real Game of Thrones that is played by the most powerful people in this world is write the future. If you want to play the real Game of Thrones, you come and play the game, let me write my version of the future. That's the best game you can play. There is no game that is more dangerous, more violent, and more incredible. And that game is played by people that know two things. First, everything you see has been decided by someone. Everything. This thing here, what a chair is, what a sofa is, what a camera is, everything in reality have been one day decided by a single person. And that single person decided for all of us what reality will be. And he fighted for that. And the second thing is that future is not already there. The best way to predict future is to build it. So I don't know what is the next revolution, but I know which one I want. I can tell you my own version of the future. I think we are living in a world where US and China are going dystopian in their own way. China think that it's fine to be a massive state of surveillance that track everybody real time and have no sympathy for human rights. America is becoming dystopian because they elected Trump and they put 2-year-old children in jail and they ask these 2-year-old children to defend themselves in court. That's totally insane. And I think Europe is the most liberal place in the world, and that Europe will not survive the future if we don't build massive company from Europe. You want to protect our way of living, build fucking massive company in Europe. Because if we don't do that, we will not have a seat at the table to define the future. So it's a bit of a meta future for me. I don't know what these big companies are going to do, but I try to be instrumental in empowering people to build that seat at the table.
That's a really good answer.
Thank you. Last question. Oh, blue shirt. Please. Please, please. I'm happy to have a question from you.
So just about writing future.
Yeah.
I just want to know how do you, I don't know, like what can we do now to be able to write the future? Like to be the one who writes the future?
So the game of future is written by people that decide something to change in a very narrow way. So it starts very small all the time. And because it's super successful in a narrow way, you have the right to play a new level in the video game that is larger.
So I have to wait for 20 years?
Oh yeah, of course, even 50 years. What do you think? It takes times. It's like, look, if you do a startup, it took 2 to 3 years to know if it works. Then it takes 10 years to make it work. Then it takes 20 years to have a return on it. Yeah, life is long. Thank you. Go. I have to, yeah. Sure. Go.
Yeah, quite sorry to keep you a little bit longer than was intended, but I do have one final question for you, which I would ask you not to take too personally or anything,
sure.
but why would we believe you? You say everybody lies.
Yeah, you don't understand. It's funny how people don't understand the everybody lie. I'm not asking you to believe me. Did I? I'm asking you to be smart. No. You're wrong. If you think I ask you to believe me, you did not understand what I asked you to do. I ask you to be smart. When I say everybody lie, it doesn't mean that everybody lie all the time. It means that when you ask a question to someone, there is a high chance that this person lie to not hurt yourself. That's what everybody lie means. It means that all of us needs to lie to protect the others. Because if you imagine a society where everybody says the truth all the time, it's a dystopian society. Like you want to prove that everybody lie? I never got someone in public that tell me I'm too fat. Only kids do that. I'm too fat. It's a fact. Do you really think you can tell me that? It will be rude. You don't know me and you come and say, man, you are too fat, take care of your health, it's dangerous. You see, everybody lie, and especially you. So, the point, when you go and hear about something, you need to be active. You need to open your mind. I said a lot of things that I don't believe myself. I don't know. Maybe they will be different. Smartness is not about believing things forever. Smartness is about being courageous enough at a point to tell things like you think they are. And if someone gives you a fact that changes your mind, you need to change your mind directly. Very smart people change their mind all the time. A lot of people watch my video online and say, oh, you are full of contradiction. I say, yeah, it's because I'm very smart. It's because I learn new things all the time. And learning things all the time, go through the process that I'm sure there is something I said that is wrong. And the question is not that people lie to you. The question is how you process the thing you hear the most open and enlightened way. Everything is an active process. Never be passive.
So, do you affirm that you believe everything you've said this evening to us?
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. So the first one is...
Two questions, man. You want
It's,
to kill
it's
me.
very fast. It's very fast.
I have a girl waiting me at 8:30 in an amazing Italian restaurant, and I need to go to take a shower and change my clothes.
Okay.
So go fast.
Okay, I go fast. So the first one is, if you would have 3... So you said, for startups, the product, people, money, and...
So 2 questions, 3 attempts.
No.
Man, it's not a 3-star restaurant.
So the first question is, should we invest in Uber? The second question is...
Uber IPO?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish to know. Huh?
Because
If I knew, I will do it. Huh? To be honest, I was super bullish on Uber before the IPO, and then I read the S1, and I was like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know.
So you don't know. There's 3 things you like, 3 pieces of advice you can give us before we leave here.
3 pieces
what would
of
it
advice?
be? Yeah, 3 like
Be
to change something.
Be intense, be nice, be courageous. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Que la famille.